Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Phoenix and this is the Consumer's Guide to Filmmaking. Disclosure Day, 2026, Steven Spielberg. This film follows a man named Daniel Kellner, having stolen top secret information from the Wardex Corporation run by a man named Noah Scanlon. Kellner and his girlfriend Jane are now on the run. Meanwhile, a Weather girl by the name of Margaret Fairchild has an out-of-body experience on air after having exhibited preternatural knowledge of everyone's inner thoughts. With their paths converging, Kellner and Fairchild both come to face the truth of the information that Kellner has stolen. That we are not alone in the universe, and that this knowledge must be public. Man, Spielberg has seemed to have gotten his mojo back in recent times, and I approve of that. I had a pretty damn good time watching Disclosure Day. Teaming with DP Janusz Kaminski, I'm not trying that again, and frequent editor and collaborator Sarah Brochard, Spielberg shows that he still knows how to craft a strong visual experience. There were some wonderful sequences where the camera goes top down and back to a normal straight ahead angle all in one shot. The lighting in this film is about on par with his other recent work, but I enjoyed some of the more overblown, hazy moments throughout the film. Plus, Spielberg knows how to craft a big set piece, and that giant chase through that farm property was excellent. The general effects work and scale of the sets and locales were pretty damn nice. Sure, the design of the aliens could have been a little more inspired because little green men are sort of passé, but there's kind of an earnest charm to it coming from Spielberg, and the computer effects themselves weren't all that bad. Musically, while I don't think this is John Williams' best work by a country mile, he does manage to complement the emotional moments of the film well with his score. The light strings during those moments where Margaret was using her empath abilities gave those tiny glimpses into the background characters some punch. Plus, it had been years since I heard that particular Gwen Stefani song in anything. And now it's just stuck in my goddamn head. Fucking thanks, Steve. Writing-wise, we see prolific screenwriter David Koepp penning a film that posits interesting ideas and questions, but he doesn't quite explore them to their fullest effect. The political and societal fallout of exposing extraterrestrial life is an idea that deserves pondering, and the background detail of impending military conflict was a nice touch. There was also this constant thread of religion that was at least explored to some depth, but the film never quite goes into the deep dive of every aspect of this world-changing information and its effect on our way of life. I do at least respect him for posing those questions in a movie with such a relentless pace, and that pace is part of why I like this movie so much. At close to 2.5 hours, this film just flew by because every scene was moving the plot forward or involved some wild action piece. I will concede that some of these set pieces involved the villains being a little ineffectual. I was wondering throughout why only one guy was smart enough to use a gun and everyone else wasn't using them. But hey, it was still kind of fun. And of course, I kind of forgot all of that when the ending hit. Man, that fucking ending was on par with any of Spielberg's best work, and it reminded me of what magic that man can pull off with his crew. Could it have been tighter if everything preceding it was that little bit more well written? Maybe? I was nonetheless swept up in the emotion of Disclosure Day and that one news anchor having a full-blown existential crisis on live TV. Our two lead characters, Margaret and Daniel, are performed by Emily Blunt and Josh O'Connell. While O'Connell was good in this film, and he purported himself amicably at times in terms of emotional displays, Emily Blunt was just on another level. She really embodied the transition from career-minded, strong woman trademark to alien harbinger of a new age. Those moments of her just looking like she is slipping in and out of reality were incredibly performed. Colin Firth joins them as the main antagonist Noah Scanlon, and Firth does a good job of performing the evil corpo suit type. I really enjoyed his performance during the ending where he portrayed that level of acceptance of what is happening just beautifully. Also, Coleman Domingo was there, and for what little screen time he had, he was pretty good. I thought the scene he had with Colin Firth was particularly well performed. Overall, while this is far from being on par with his most seminal work, Disclosure Day is probably the most I've been engaged by a Spielberg joint in like, at least bare minimum 5 years. I remember liking West Side Story, but like, since then, Anyways, bringing a strong performance out of Emily Blunt, Spielberg crafted a fun little sci-fi thriller with entertaining set pieces and an amusing, albeit flawed story. If you dig alien movies, maybe throw this on during a movie night. And I am feeling a 6 to a 6.5 out of 10 on this one. Sadly, I think it's closer to a 6 than a 6.5, but I still had my fun with this one. Catch you later, guys!